Welcome back, travelers, to your referral roadmap. This podcast is dedicated to helping you unleash your personal and business revenue potential by cultivating referral relationships. In this 10-part series, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of mindset, exploring how it impacts our business, sales, and honestly, every aspect of our lives, and how we can harness its power to achieve success. Today is our last podcast of the season, Athena. Can you believe it?
Woohoo!
I can't believe we made it through 10 episodes. So thank you,
I
travelers,
know.
for all of you guys who have hung around with us this whole time. We're excited to unpack today on goal setting for life, not just for business, but then also to see you guys next season, of course. Athena, what stories do you have to tell us about goal setting this week?
Oh, I'm so excited about this. So, all right, you guys, why are we talking about goals? Well, first of all, I have had the experience lately of sitting down with now it's gotten into about over 100 people, if not, anyway, over 100 people in the last couple of months, talking to them about their goal setting. And Jada, I just have to tell you, my mind was like, wow, what I perceived as a coach, mentor, trainer was not what I found. So I just want to say, if you're hearing this and you're on the treadmill or driving or doing walking, whatever it is that you do when you like to listen to podcasts, if you are afraid to sit down and do goals, or if you have felt overwhelmed, like there's no point, like life is too overwhelming, I'm just trying to survive, why would I even take the time to write my goals? Or if life is just beating you up and you're like, why would I dare to even have hope for that? Or if you're like, I'm too old, too busy, you're not alone. I have encountered so many people who have felt just like you did. But then a friend maybe invited them to my goal setting boot camp, or a boss paid for them to come, or another company invited them to come. And they found themselves in the room and they thought what was going to happen is we were going to go through and only talk about how you can make more money at work, make your bosses have more productivity from you, and how you can work, and grind. And that's not what they experienced. What they experienced is a look into their life, Jada, that was the, I call, totality of their life. Your whole life. Work is a portion of your life. It's not your whole life. Your life makes up of multiple facets. Some of the ones that I have found that are really helpful for people to focus on is their mental health, their physical health, their lifestyle, their relationships, of course, their finances and business success, personal development. How are all of those things going? And so I want to share a story with you that encompasses that. In one of my recent goal setting classes, I'm going to give you two stories in case it resonates with you. One, a lady that before class, I had known her, Jada, but I hadn't seen her for a while. And she was there, and I was so proud of her. And I'm not going to say her name to protect her because of what I'm going to say. But she was there, and I saw her, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited to see you. Where have you been? And she said, Athena, just to get to this class took everything I had. But she goes, I don't even want a goal set right now. I'm not in a good place. But I saw it was you, and I saw that somebody else was going to pay for it, right? So she said, I got myself out of my funk and I'm here. And I said, and how does that feel? And she said, I'm scared. I said, tell me more about that. And she went in to tell me about some things that had happened in her life that got her down, and that she'd been living in an emotional fog, and that she was frankly afraid to even think about goal setting because she was even worried about how she was going to put her feet in front of each other. And if you are in that space or have ever felt that way, I want you to realize, yes, you have to be careful about the goal setting program that you go to, but there are still goals to be had. Your goals just may look different. Your goals, like her, and here's the advice I gave her: make your goals about getting out of the fog. Make your goals about trying to find that thing you want in your life that makes you want to get up every day. Now is not the time to be focusing on creating $1 million business or, the big, audacious, hairy goal. Her goal was, how does she get her life back, Jada? And she said, I think I can do that. I said, then that's all we need you to do today. Because fundamentally, that's what she needs to do in order to ever reach her big, audacious goal, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want you to be afraid. Don't be afraid like my friend. So 3 hours later, after we're wrapping up the boot camp, she came up to me, gave me this big hug, and told me, thank you so much. She even took it upon herself to post on social media how much she needed to be in that room that day. Now, this isn't about me or the class even that I'm teaching. This was about her showing up, Jada, for her. This was about her recognizing that right now wasn't the time to be focusing on the big audacious goal. It was about mental, physical energy, right? Like our last podcast we talked about, she did it. She took minutes out of her day to come and make time for herself. That's the beginning. And then being brave enough to make goals when you're worrying about how can I breathe, right?
Yeah.
That, she's an inspiration. And I'm so proud of her. The other story that I want to talk about with this is same concept, just different. One of my coaching clients, he and his wife coached, I coached them together, and they've been coaching me now with a couple of years. But one of the years, the first year, we did this goal setting course together. I'll never forget, Jada, both of their eyes were like, I've never thought about that. I've never looked at it like that. And here I'm a coach, right? One-on-one coach. I'm supposed to be helping them make more money. I'm supposed to be giving them referrals and revenue, and right? And yeah, we do that too. But here I am asking them these deep questions because, again, their true success in life is measured by understanding how they want to live their life. So we went through the exercise. And at the end of the exercise, what we realized is they had a financial goal that they were pretty close to. But they had some other areas in their life that they weren't focusing on. And they were in their 40s because no one had ever really asked them to focus on them or brought it to their attention. And they're successful, amazing, driven. I mean, they're hiring me. They are cream of the crop. I mean, the world is like, they got it, right? But Jada, they hadn't done this. And so when we did, they started formulating action plans and plans to create a life. And now their business is thriving and their personal life is thriving. And they have strategies and plans for the future that is diversified, and they see how they're going to accomplish it. So no matter which bucket you're in, I want you to know you're not alone. And your goals don't have to always be the Ferrari or the mansion. Those can be your goals too. I'm not shaming you if those are goals. But I'm saying in order to even get the Ferrari or the mansion, you better figure out your entire life, because you don't want to get to the end with enormous regret. But
Yeah.
I got to say, many people are too afraid. I want you to resonate that and think about that for a second. Are you afraid? Then I'm going to beg you to do it afraid, because you're worth it.
Mm.
And so both of these inspire me to do it. And I will say this too. I personally do my own goal setting on steroids, because I do it with my mentor every single year. And it's been enormously powerful and productive for me. And it's one of the tools. And so let's get to the science piece, because I'm going to tell you, I have to have a system to do this. And Jada will share at the end of this my system. But Jada, what does other scientists and people say about it? We've got to have the facts and figures, so you give it to me.
We always do.
Gotta do it.
We got to do it. Yes. So Dennis Waitley said the major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes of you to accomplish it. What it makes of you will always be far greater value than what you get.
Okay, can we just stop for a
I
second?
love that quote. Yes.
Oh my gosh, how about that quote?
Love it.
I do too. And you guys are like, okay, she's taking over poor Jada. But I just have to say this. Right, Jada? It's about character development. Weren't we just talking
Yep.
about that in a team meeting?
Mm-hmm.
The perseverance creates character. All right.
Yep.
All right, I'll be quiet.
No, I love that. Thank you for interjecting. And so the next one I was going to talk about was I may pronounce this wrong, intelligent. It's intelligent, but with a capital IN. And we'll link it below. Change. They said setting up intentions for your goals can do magic for your motivation, persistence, and your overall satisfaction in the process of achieving your goals. Intentions make you more focused and help you grow as a person. They are also the tool to become more mindful in life.
Mm.
And one more, if you don't mind, is that okay?
Oh, please.
Okay, perfect. Then Virtual Hand, their research says intention is the part that is often unintentionally missed out of your goal setting strategy. It's the personal and often internal reason why you want something. If you've ever achieved a goal you wanted, but felt hollow and empty as a result, it's a sign you forgot to infuse some intention into that goal.
I love
So
that.
I'll make sure to link those below, because there's a lot more information that's really helpful to read as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. So now, Athena, that we have those facts, I would love to hear what real talk, real strategies you have around setting goals and getting your 2024 off to a really good start.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm just excited about this. And so, those of you who are listening, Jada also helps me create my boot camps and my courses. I come up with the content, she makes it look pretty, and then she asks me lots of questions, and then we figure out how to make it better. And part of that, that we learned. And so I want you to think through something. Any goal that you write down, there is strong statistics that show how much more powerful writing down a goal is for achieving the goal. Now, I don't recall the statistics, so I don't want to get them wrong, but you can Google it. It's high. So the very first thing I want you to do is realize you got to write them down. In the boot camp we created, you got to write it down a bunch of things. Well, the reason people are like, Athena, why do you have me write all this down when you're going to make me focus on only this handful of things? Because the writing it down helps your brain to understand it's important. And there's science that say if you write it down, the brain will remember it and it'll silently push you towards it. So write it down. That's the number one thing. Write your goals down. But behind it, this is the part that Jada helped me come up with in my course, is behind the goal, write the intention. Okay, so write your goal and write the intention. Now, what's going to be interesting about this, Jada, is that what I have found in watching people do this, because goal setting is more complicated than people think, But
Mm.
as I'm watching people go through it, sometimes the intention really is the goal,
Mm.
right? Not always, but sometimes. So, and the goal becomes the result of the intention. I'll give you an example of this. A couple days ago when I was teaching this course, a gentleman up front was sitting there and he raised his hand. He said, "Hey, I'm trying to figure out this intention, but it seems kind of odd because it seems like the intention is the goal. Am I getting it wrong?" And I said, "No, your brain is 100% on the right path because it's just the act of doing this activity that's helping you to start to see your real goals and the real roadmap, right?"
Mm.
And so his goal, he wanted, when we looked at his entire life, his physical fitness wasn't what he wanted. Now, he was a nice, trim guy, but his physical fitness wasn't where he wanted it to be. So he said, the goal was to get physically fit. I said, okay. And he said, but my intention and how he wrote it out was the intention was to exercise and work out every day. Or I think it was 5 days a week, actually. And he said, Athena, which is the goal? And I said, the goal is to work out 5 days a week. The result will be getting fit. And I said, but why do you want to get fit? And he was like, because I'm aging and it hurts. And I want to not hurt as much. And I want to have great life as I age. I said, that's the goal. You see how it changes? And that's the why. The goal, I want to have this long life. How you're going to, the behavior then became exercising 5 days a week for him. The
Mm.
result being fit.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in your brain if you just say, oh, this is my goal to be fit. Write that out because it's in that process that you'll start to dig deeper and deeper. So write them out and then figure
Mm.
out what's the intention, what's the behavior that I've got to do. And then think about that emotional thing. Like his was, he wanted to age well and have good quality of life. Now that's worth getting up for, not because he wants to look great with a shirt off at the lake, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I really need you guys to understand, like, whatever goal you have, you need to understand what is the emotional reason why you want to achieve it that gets you out of bed at night. This is critical. I have had people tell me, Athena, I don't have a why. I just want money. I just want money. Really?
Mm.
Let's think through that. What is money going to do for you? What is the reason why the money? Now, I don't want to shame you. If you just want money, you go be you. But for most of us, we want the money to do something. So what is it? You're going to write out your goal. I want to be a millionaire. Why do you want to be a millionaire? What's being a millionaire going to do for you? And start thinking through that in order for you to, that quote that Jada and I loved so much, how do you become the person? I want you to think through your goals of every part of your life of how you become the person you need to be to not only have wealth, but also to become the spouse that you want to be, the parent you want to be, grandparent you want to be, friend you want to be, business partner you want to be. How are you doing at defining how are you becoming? Are you writing that down? Are you thinking through that? If you're not, do it.
Mm.
And if that's overwhelming, find a coach or mentor to help you do it. Because your life is entirely too important for you to wake up every day just getting back on the hamster wheel of life and not understanding you have a purpose, a plan, and intentionality for your life.
Mm.
You matter. Your life matters. There are people who are waiting for you to start doing the things, to become the person, writing out these goals, achieving a little bit more roundness in your life, fullness. Because it's when you're in that space that they're going to learn from you. You're going to inspire them. But more importantly, at the end of your life, or in those moments, you're going to know you did a great job and you lived well.
Mm.
I'm going to wrap up with a story. This is personal. I've always been a goal setter. You guys, I had a briefcase and a journal of my favorite quotes at 10. Well, I didn't have the briefcase till high school, but a journal of quotes at 10, right? So take that for what it is. I know. I know I'm a little nerdy. I'm different, but it wasn't until after 2020 that I really understood the importance of the whole package and the intentionality and what we're talking about today, which is what now I teach. Because you see, at the end of 2020, I had these things called pulmonary emboli, which are blood clots in my lungs. And it's not great. I had 8 of them. That's life threatening. I was very sick. And yes, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I very well could have died. One can take your life. But it was during COVID. And so my husband couldn't go to the hospital room with me until I tested negative for COVID and they did protocols. And honestly, I was so sick. I couldn't talk much anyway. And laying there in that room, feeling very alone and scared, hearing the doctors and nurses talk about my situation and the severity of it. When I looked back on my life, I didn't call my financial planner. I didn't call the banks to find out how much money I had. I didn't look at my real estate portfolio. I didn't look at my LinkedIn to see what my resume looked like. And all of those things are important. But they weren't important in that moment. In that moment, what really mattered is, did I live well? Am I proud of the life I've lived to this point? Did the people who really mattered, did they know? By the way, those are the people I talk to on the phone, which hurt to talk because it hurt to breathe. In those moments, I thought, was I the wife I needed to be to my amazing husband? Imperfect, but amazing. Did he know? Did I set up my life so that my daughter with disabilities would be taken care of? Did my best friend of over 30 years know the impact she made? Did my business partner know how much I appreciated him seeing me and believing in me? It was after living through that I realized there were things I was doing in my life that I was doing out of ego, Jada, not out of intent. There were areas of my life I was drastically neglecting, my health obviously being one of them. And there were relationships that I wasn't as close to that I really wanted to be. And the biggest, I had only one real regret. And that is, I was only kind of doing my coaching business. So in 2021, I went feet first because this was my dream. And I wasn't afraid because I had been and had to be reflective on life. I'm so thankful for that moment, for how scared I was, how intense that was. I'm thankful that I survived it. But I'm so thankful for the pain and hardship that that put me through, because it helped me get my life right. And if you're listening to this, I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to take a moment and think, if you were laying in a hospital bed right now and you didn't know if you would survive, what would you change? That is goal setting with intention. That's what I want you to do. Because if we go back to my stories, even if the goal is to survive right now, there's goals there. And even if the goal is to have a better life, even though you're successful, now's the time. So, Jada, that's my very emotional plea for people,
Mm.
that their life
Thank you for
matters.
sharing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, if you are resonating with anything Athena said today and you haven't set your goals for 2024, we are offering a virtual goal setting boot camp on January 24th. So we will link below how to sign up for that, how to get plugged in. We obviously want you to set those goals and achieve all that we know that you're capable of. So we will make sure that you have access to that. Athena, do you have anything else to add about that goal setting boot camp?
No, I really hope you're there. You're
Okay.
absolutely worth it. Jada's made it very affordable. It's a great investment in you. And I really hope to get to see you there.
Perfect. Well, other than that, the ways that you can stay connected with us, as we mentioned, this is the last podcast of this season. We will be back. We'll be back on March 5th. But before that, ways to stay connected. One is Athena's Success Revolution. That is her weekly blog where she comes to us with more real talk, real strategies straight to your inbox. So we will put that link below to sign up. And then to go ahead and like and subscribe to this podcast. That way you get notified when we come back on March 5th. And we hope to see you at the Goal Setting Bootcamp, but also next season.
Excellent. Thank you guys for following, and we look forward to next season.
Talk to you then. Bye.